Hey everyone, let's have a chat about something we all deal with: high blood pressure, also known as primary hypertension. The goal of treating high blood pressure is pretty straightforward. Lower that pressure, reduce the risk of complications, and ultimately live longer and better. When it comes to treatment, we've got two main options on the table: medications and non-medication treatments. While medications are often crucial, non-medication treatments are the cornerstone for all individuals dealing with high blood pressure. Why? Because they reduce the need for medications and enhance the effectiveness of treatment. So, they're quite important. Non-medication treatment mainly includes five methods: dietary adjustments, weight loss, regular exercise, stress reduction, limiting alcohol intake, and quitting smoking. By adopting these measures, blood pressure can be effectively controlled, and the risk of cardiovascular diseases can be reduced. Alrighty, first of all, when it comes to non-medication treatments, adjusting your diet is key. The basic idea? Go easy on the salt, cut down on fats, amp up your potassium intake, and make sure you're getting plenty of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and lean protein. First up, let's talk about salt restriction. According to the World Health Organization, the recommended daily intake of salt should not exceed 5 grams, ideally staying below 3.8 grams. Here's a map showing salt intake levels around the world, with blue indicating regions where daily salt consumption is less than 5 grams. It's evident that apart from a few countries meeting this standard, the majority exceed it, especially in Central and East Asia. In addition to salt, it's important to watch out for high-sodium foods and additives like ham, instant pudding, frozen shrimp, cheese, salad dressing, various soups, etc. Try to minimize consumption of these foods, as the sodium ions they contain should be included in your daily total intake. Guess what? Some folks have discovered that cutting back on just 3 grams of salt per day can lower blood pressure by 5 millimeters of mercury. Isn't that like taking a blood pressure pill in your diet? Next up, we're talking about getting a decent amount of potassium. The recommendation? Shoot for 3.5 to 4.7 grams of potassium per day per person. This little boost can potentially knock your blood pressure down by 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury. So, adding some potassium to your diet? Worth considering. Here's a lineup of some everyday potassium-packed foods. However, potassium supplementation may not be suitable for everyone. Individuals with impaired renal function or other conditions affecting potassium excretion should consult a doctor or nutritionist before considering potassium supplements. Next, let's talk about oils. They're important, but don't go overboard. Stick to 2 to 3 tablespoons a day. And when you do, go for the good stuff like olive oil, flaxseed oil, corn oil, and camellia seed oil. In addition, consider cutting back on things like animal fats and full-fat dairy products, as they may contain higher levels of unhealthy fats. Also, don't deep fry, as food becomes greasy and contains more unhealthy or bad fats when fried. Speaking of which, these bad oils are the real troublemakers when it comes to clogged arteries, which is not good news for people with high blood pressure. Of course, another major benefit of a low-fat diet is that it helps to lose weight. Obesity is another risk factor that causes high blood pressure. We will discuss this in detail below. Also, high blood pressure folks, listen up. Loading up on vegetables, fruits, and whole grains can help drop your blood pressure by 11 millimeters of mercury. So, by making these dietary adjustments, you can seriously slash the risk of heart-related issues and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Keep it up, folk. Now, let's dig into another biggie when it comes to high blood pressure: obesity. Check this out. Research on 2,274 high blood pressure patients found that a whopping 76.2% were either overweight or obese. And here's the kicker: folks with central obesity are over 4 times more likely to develop high blood pressure than those with a normal waist circumference. Now, according to the World Health Organization, the upper limit for waist circumference is 102 centimeters for men and 88 centimeters for women. But let's be real, a 190 centimeters and a 170 centimeters person, both measuring 110 centimeters around the waist, have vastly different levels of obesity. That's why I like using the waist-to-high ratio, WHDR, as a gauge. It gives us a better idea of whether someone's dealing with central obesity. As your weight creeps up, blood pressure tends to follow suit. And the longer you carry those extra pounds, especially for women, the higher the risk of developing high blood pressure. So, Shedding those extra pounds is a key way to tackle high blood pressure. Studies show that weight loss can significantly improve blood pressure, with dropping just 10 kilograms potentially reducing systolic pressure by up to 20 millimeters of mercury. The third way to keep blood pressure in check without popping pills is to get moving. For folks dealing with high blood pressure, the World Health Organization suggests getting in at least 150 minutes of aerobic exercise spread across 3 days each week, plus squeezing in 2 or 3 strength training sessions. Think of activities like walking, jogging, swimming, dancing, and hitting weights. Regular and moderate exercise can knock down high blood pressure by around 5 to 8 millimeters of mercury. Let's delve into how emotions can impact high blood pressure. While many folks believe stress and tension are major players behind high blood pressure, modern research hasn't found strong evidence suggesting stress itself directly causes long-term hypertension. Some studies have even found links between anxiety or depression symptoms and lower blood pressure. Although the long-term relationship between stress and high blood pressure is still under scrutiny, it's widely accepted that fluctuations in emotions can have short-term effects on blood pressure. Let me show you an interesting study from a renowned university in China. This study observed the relationship between fluctuations in the stock market and the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Check out the results. The horizontal axis represents the stock market's ups and downs, while the vertical axis represents the risk of cardiovascular diseases. The curve forms a U shape, indicating that when the stock market index rises or falls, the risk of cardiovascular diseases increases. Moreover, the greater the fluctuations, the higher the risk. This study demonstrates that emotional stress can indeed affect blood pressure, highlighting the importance of emotional stability in maintaining stable blood pressure. So, we can say that managing stress is also a crucial aspect for individuals with high blood pressure. It can help reduce blood pressure fluctuations and minimize the occurrence of cardiovascular accidents in hypertensive patients. When it comes to booze and blood pressure, it's a bit of a tricky dance. Knocking back a few drinks won't instantly send your blood pressure through the roof, but if you make a habit of heavy drinking over time, it can definitely up your chances of getting hypertension and wreak havoc on your ticker. So, if you've got high blood pressure, it's probably best to keep the lid on the bottle. But if you absolutely can't resist, gents, try to stick to no more than a couple of drinks a day. That's like roughly 2 standard beers, a glass or 2 of wine, or a couple of shots of hard liquor. And for the ladies, well, best to keep it halved. For folks dealing with high blood pressure, kicking the smoking habit is a smart move. Smoking can increase your sympathetic nervous system, which is one of the mechanisms that amp up blood pressure. Research tracking nearly 5,000 people over a 14-and-a-half-year period found that smoking is a moderate risk factor for hypertension. Plus, smokers with high blood pressure tend to be less responsive to blood pressure-lowering medications, making it tougher to get the desired results from antihypertensive treatment, often requiring higher doses. High blood pressure is a serious health threat worldwide. No doubt about it. Getting in there early is key to cutting down on complications and adding years to your life. And hey, tweaking your lifestyle habits is a big part of treating high blood pressure. So, knowing the ins and outs of non-drug treatments is a must for anyone dealing with high blood pressure and their families. Hope this video helps you out. Please note that the above information is only to popularize knowledge and does not serve as medical guidance. For accurate advice and diagnosis, please consult a qualified healthcare professional.